Stop drawing, chick.
Welcome to the war room. We got Dev,
Hate them bricks.
Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. Give it to you how you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topics, sorta like some rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerate to speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4 for 26, so the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.
What up, everybody out there? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you as usual by War Room Sports on that WRS Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with the generals. We got Jimmy the Blueprint Williams, and in a few minutes, B. Austin will join the fold. There have been some more joint practice fisticuffs in the NFL, and apparently Robert Griffin III is now the best quarterback in the NFL. I didn't really get that memo until he sent the memo earlier in the week. So we'll talk about this and a whole lot more, including some college football with Fred Purdue. So keep it locked right here. And to get in on the live conversation, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/the War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 30 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. We're going to be talking a little bit about the NFL preseason and training camps at that time. So call in and get ready for some football talk. But before we get started, we just need to remind you guys to make War Room Sports Podcast Network a part of your daily routine. When we're not live on the air, make sure you visit warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app, which is free, or on iTunes. You'll find some of the best shows the web has to offer, sports and non-sports, but mainly sports. And you can listen to archive episodes of our show, The War Room, The Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, The Tissue and Tape Hip Hop Show with Phil and Savad, Sports Trap Radio with Brandon and Anthony, and a whole lot more. You can also check the listings over at fatsradio.com for syndicated air times of all your favorite WRSP and sports shows, including The War Room, which airs over there a few times per week. And again, that's fatsradio.com, PHATZ radio.com. What up, homies? Hey, Jim, real quick, man. I just want to know what the world is coming to when Jared Fogle of Subway fame is a BBR freak. Like, what's up with that? He's a pervert. Come on,
man.
Jared.
It's very disgusting, man. It's like, I have so many thoughts that go through my mind. Like, I don't know if there's any rehabilitation for that. It's disgusting. He was a public figure. Like, I don't even want to go to Subway no more. Not that I frequent it so much, but it's definitely associated with that brand. And the crazy part is, to me, what's crazy is watching that news headline today. I think it was the New York Post. When it was New York Post. Did you see that headline? That was like, Jared and enjoy a foot long when you get to prison.
Oh yeah, I did see that. He's like, we got a foot long for you in here or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm sitting there like, you put that on the paper. I'm like, now, just playing devil's advocate. I don't want to call it devil's advocate. I'm just going to keep it real, man. All these feminists out here have a problem. But for some reason, it's supposed to be funny when it's man rape, right? And people always talk about rape culture and men are misogynists and they always talk about rape, this, and the third. But that's supposed to be funny. How come nobody stood up and said, we're the feminists now that scream rape culture when they do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't never
when
been
the
behind
newspaper
bars.
just basically threatened this dude that he was going to get raped.
I just find it interesting when they talk about prison and you talk about rape, and I ain't gonna front. Sometimes it's funny, but at the same time, sometimes I don't even want to say this because I'm gonna get rape is something that should never be joked about, right? Sometimes stuff be funny though. But with that being said, you gotta be consistent. Like, if you're gonna come down when people say anything that remotely has rape to do with anything else, there's a big uproar. But there's no uproar when it's man on man rape. So I just found that interesting, which came out as a result of the whole Jared thing.
Something interesting that you said a few seconds ago, like the first thing you said after I talked about, after I brought up the whole subject, you was like, I don't even want to eat at Subway now. And that's funny because my wife and I were having this discussion yesterday, and I said, the same thing. I wasn't really talking about me. I was just saying,
Sure.
like, wow, I wonder what the implications for Subway is going to be
Gold stick.
as far as their popularity and their marketing. And she was like, well, they haven't really messed with Jarrett like that in years anyway. But then, I was trying to explain to her from my point of view, it's like the only reason we know this dude is from Subway. So anytime his name comes up, positive or negative, that's Jarrett from
It's a
Subway.
wrap.
So if you feel some type of way about this dude, then you might not, like, it might turn you off to think like, I'm not going to eat at that place that was, behind.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a million, right? I'm gonna keep it a million.
It's just the psyche of people, man. It's marketing.
I'm gonna keep it a million, right? You have people, organizations that fail at life and do things which are reprehensible. But at the end of the day, if you put out a quality product, then people will forgive you. So they got to come out with a new powerful sandwich to erase
Powerful
all
sandwich, huh?
They come out with a new powerful sandwich. No one can. It's like the whole thing with R. Kelly, right? R. Kelly, was accused of what he did.
Yeah.
I may or may not have seen the tape, but after that, he dropped an album called Chocolate Factory, which was literally the greatest R&B album I heard in the last 30 years. So I don't care how much piss he dropped. I can't deny that album. So my point is, Subway.
No, that's right, because if you look at R. Kelly,
equivalent to Chocolate Factory, they got to come up with their version of Chocolate Factory, and we won't care no more.
Like R. Kelly still gets his
Chocolate Factory.
Chris Brown can beat chicks up, and he still get his people. So it's nothing. I'm not saying that it's going to get to a point where they're not going to be able to recover from it, but they're going to lose a few people. I mean, think about it.
Think about this.
If the bull,
they're the butt of jokes.
But if the gecko, did some BBR on some other little lizards, Geico would probably lose a couple fans over that because that's all we learn from. Or if the cavemen went cavemen on some chicks.
Or the other way, people will go into the restaurants, take pictures
for the listeners what BBR is, because there may be some new listeners.
We don't have to do that. We can just talk
our
language.
If y'all can't keep up with the slang, that's on you. But listen, what I'm saying
that means you don't listen. So
the other way it could work is you'll have people going into their restaurants to take pictures just to slander them. It's the equivalent of
memes is the most important societal.
It's all about me. Be awesome. You said this last episode. It's all about these memes, but we gotta get these memes off.
Memes is everything.
That's the equivalent of like those religious groups that would buy a gang of rap CDs and they would buy them just to run over them or put them on fire. But meanwhile, you cop them up. You know what I'm saying? So, cats may go in there to Subway to buy their sandwiches just to make the jokes, but yet and still they're going to be buying those sandwiches, man.
Traveling across state lines to pay for sex with 17-year-old girls. Jared Fogle, you a noodle, yo.
Yo, you travel across state lines, man. Come, you bugging, man. First of all, you couldn't get a 19,
You fed time now. You fed time.
Yo, it's crazy, though. I mean, if all you young men out there...
try to cop a plea. You don't cop a plea.
For all you people out there that enjoy the company of young ladies, man, y'all gotta start checking identification, man. Like, because she probably lied, but still, you gotta check out. If it's possible, you gotta check ID, man.
All right, Jared, we didn't even really start the show like that yet, and we already got our first nominee. And then I think if we do the award show this weekend, people might get mad if he don't just get the award. But we got some more nominees coming after him, so we'll see. Jared. Yeah, but he's not really sports related though, so maybe that doesn't count. But yeah, Subway can get their rep back up. Drop all mention of Jared Fogle, and they can get it back up because they're already on the right track. They already have the best quarterback in the NFL on their roster. So Subway, they'll be back.
Yes, great segue. All
right, so let's because we'll talk about that a little later.
I'm about to say that it's not really a segue yet. Let's
get into the show.
I'm anxious
while
to
you were on the grind. Yeah, you definitely are. And for those who don't know, While You Were on the Grind is brought to you by DirecTV. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, which includes the NFL Sunday Ticket, go to our website at warroomsports.com. Click on that DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. Listen, football season is approaching. It's going to be here before you know it, and you got to have DirecTV.
It's a matter of weeks.
Gentlemen, in the words of my comrade who's on the line, Devin McMillan, he made a quote to me right before the show came on, which I found a little funny. talking about Michael Sam. He said Michael Sam is acting like a Michael Sam. So I'm going to open the segment up with that because Michael Sam has quit football once again.
You are gay.
That was not James Williams. I don't know who.
that was the producer. The producer. Oh, he behind the boards tripping.
Yo, man.
All I'm gonna say is this, man. Michael Sam, shout out to you for still maintaining popularity because there are a lot of people who, his career has never done anything like yours, who we don't even know at this point. They're working at, Jiffy Lube or Meineke, but you use what you got to get what you want. You're still popular. So shout out to you.
You know what though, Jim? You know what though? No pun intended, no hills and moles, but that popularity is probably what was eating the boy alive right now. The fact that he's popular for nothing besides his sexuality is why he's claiming that he has to leave football because he's close to having mental health problems. And I can see that. Like, you're not succeeding at what you said you wanted to be known for, and he's getting all of this popularity about one thing. The only reason we're even talking about him right now, the only reason that the Four Letter Network talks about him constantly, the only reason that anybody talks about him is because of his sexuality. So the same thing that he tried to exploit and tried to get rich off of might be the same thing that's tearing him apart right now, man. But he's a quitter, man. I understand that it might be difficult, but this firestorm didn't really have to come. And it's not like it's a negative firestorm. He gets way more praise and, courage awards and all that kind of stuff than he gets negativity. So I don't know.
Everybody's afraid.
Made his bed.
He can't call it what it is. Everybody's afraid to really to take real shots at him because they know that the Pink Mafia has backed him and their propaganda dudes. I mean,
everybody except for B. Austin.
Yeah, more or less.
Take shots, but hey.
First of all, I wouldn't want him on my team, and second of all, if he was on my team, I would, really distance myself from him because I don't think that's right, and I don't think that. He should be in a locker room while we're in a locker room, and it's just a whole lot of other things. So I wouldn't even be a part of that. But it's stuff like that going on, and there's a lot of other people out here like that.
And we talking
Tim
about
Hardaway, everybody.
I don't know what y'all think we
the most ignorant comments in sports history. Tim Hardaway, everybody.
Yo, here's something funny, right? I was rooting for this dude to actually succeed. Just so honestly, just so we don't have to talk about him anymore. Like, I wanted to be a situation
talk about him making tackles.
Yo, I want to be a situation where he was successful and it stopped being a thing. So therefore, guys who are in the league and are scared to come out, like Aaron Rodgers and whatnot, like they can just be themselves because I'm all about people trying to be themselves and just prosper. So, I was actually hoping
that shots fired soundbite, man. Damn, we be lunching on that.
I was hoping that he had some semblance of success. You know what I'm saying? So, we could just move on from this whole thing. So it wouldn't be a thing.
But we talk about the popularity, tearing him apart. He still announced this over Twitter. He said and his tweet said the last 12 months have been very difficult for me to the point where I became concerned with my mental health because of this, I am going to step away from the game at this time. I thank the Alouettes for this opportunity and hope to be back on the field soon. Thank you for all your understanding and support. And he's still leaving the door open. I hope to be back on the field soon. But you just left these people in June for some undisclosed reasons. Came back when you thought, you could just come back and do what you want. Now the going may have gotten a little tough again, a little rough, and he's out again. So, I mean, I don't know what he's going through. God bless the man if he's going through some difficult times. But, from the outside looking in, it just doesn't look good. It kind of looks like he's the type of dude, when the sledding gets a little tough, like he going to jump off that sled. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
And, and also, indeed, he's struggling with, from a mental health standpoint, man. Go get yourself some help, man. You know what I mean? Like, this football must not be for you, man. And that's okay. Listen, man, it's okay to know that it ain't for you, man.
He can do other things. I mean, he could parlay that fame that he's acquired, into creating his chocolate factory.
But on a serious note, at the same time, though, he's going back and forth with football like this. He's starting to look like a fraud to everybody. So people might not even allow him to capitalize off of it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, how long can he, to quote some 80s rappers, how long can he perpetrate the fraud and keep coming back and exploiting?
You thinking realistic, good, principled values, man. In this day and age, attention and fame is everything. Somebody give him a check. Somebody give him a check just because a lot of people know. It don't matter.
He can make porn. Anyway.
You already made porn.
I was waiting for that. That was the alley-oop.
Yo, y'all laughing, right? But y'all know damn well my man, he started creating some man-hymen porn that it'll probably like shoot to the top of the charts. So,
yo, that's the way to go if he wants to be
swinging off shower rides.
Shout Mimi. Listen though, next story, man. LeBron Raymond James is sending over 1,100 kids to college. What's the University of Akron? So, LeBron told y'all when he left Cleveland, I ain't from Cleveland, I'm from Akron. So, he's looking out for the university. This is a great thing. I couldn't find anything negative to say about it, although as soon as the story dropped, I was waiting to hear B. Austin's take. But I do know that, in my opinion, even if, LeBron is following a plan that's been laid out for him and is not really his intention, man, I got to salute the man for what he does off the court, because he could be like some people and just not care because, Republicans do buy sneakers too. But anyway, salute to LeBron for this.
Yo, and the whole thing is his foundation, they're going to pair up with the University of Akron. And like Jimmy said, they're going to fully sponsor more than 1,000 scholarships. Now, there's some stipulations to the program, I believe. Like the kids have to finish the program before they get their tuition. And these are small kids right now. So this $41.8 million that they're forecasting that he'll have to shell out won't even be, due. Like he won't have to follow through on this for some years now. And they said a year's tuition alone at the University of Akron is around $9,500. That's the only part about the story that I didn't understand, because they keep, forecasting it on $9,500. Did LeBron get some rate locked in with the University of Akron? Because if these kids aren't college age yet, it's damn sure going to cost more than $9,500 by the time he does the scholarship. So maybe it's a situation where, he got the rate locked in because of this program, because University of Akron is a part of it. His foundation is a part of it. And I believe Chase is a part of it. But like Jimmy said, like for me, like we've talked about LeBron and some of the things he does publicly and, how contrived a lot of it looks, because today it's all about protecting your brand. But in my opinion, man, if education is involved, and this is coming from a dude who didn't even attend college, so I give him even more points for that, because kids that look up to LeBron James because they don't know how realistic or unrealistic what he did is in the larger scheme of things, they might not even hold college in high esteem because, LeBron's my hero, he's my idol, he didn't go to college, he did this, he did that. And you guys know how impressionable these kids are, because we sat in front of a room full of high school kids where everybody in the room thought they were going to the league, and none of them barely played on their team at the time, and they damn sure weren't that concerned about what their grades look at the time. So people don't really understand, kids don't really understand the importance of that. So I give him extra points for a dude who didn't even attend college to emphasize something like this, whether it came from him or not. Like Jimmy said, he still did it, because a lot of dudes can just ignore that and I ain't putting my money to nothing. That's my money. So shout out to Brian on this whole thing.
Shout out to LeBron. Shout out to the tax benefit that he'll reap. But my mom always gave me this advice. If you can say the good, you could definitely, if you can say the bad, you can say the good. And I salute him for this move. So, we're We're gonna go ahead and clap it up for Maverick Carter and them. And the other thing that I'm a salute LeBron on is, if you do notice, he really is on some LOE. Shout out to the cats that follow Seattle basketball. They know what LOE is, but loyalty over everything, and it's really a great thing to see with a group of young professional / corporate / lifestyle black men holding it down. And LeBron is given the opportunity to his whole squad to go to college, come out of school, and work for him and create these opportunities. And so, salute to Maverick Carter and some of them other dudes that, LeBron holds down, because they're not just like an AI entourage. Like, they really do stuff and bring value to the LeBron James brand. And this was a masterful move, man. There's almost no fault that you could find with a move like this. I'm not ready to, credit LeBron for it, but it's because of LeBron that it can happen, and his brand is tied to it. Yo, man, salute to that young man. Clap it up for him one more time.
I want to piggyback off something you said, right? Because the saying is that a learns from his mistakes, but a learns from the mistakes of others. And when you look at LeBron James as a brand, like he had the ability to see what Michael Jordan did right and what he did wrong. Magic Johnson did right and did wrong. Kobe, even the AI. So, smart enough to basically look at their mistakes, look at what they did good, and create this brand, this image, and this business that's at a whole nother level just because of the time that he came around. Because if you look at someone like a Magic signing a 20-year deal for $20 million, like LeBron is smart enough not to get into those contracts that deep, but he also Magic did on the business side, and he's kind of following that. He saw Jordan, and in terms of how Jordan's looked at from a social standpoint, even with the whole Trayvon Martin thing, even though people say all he did was put a hoodie on, the fact of the matter is he didn't have to do anything. So even if it's contrived, he tried to take a something that could be, considered a political stance. He tries to stay clean, the family man image, like Kobe tried to do after he got in trouble. So he had the ability to see what happened to Kobe. And you just mentioned the whole AI thing. He had a crew too, but I guess he was like, look, y'all not just going to come around me to be around me. Come around me, y'all going to contribute something to the bigger picture, man. It's all about their movement. Right. Salute to him for what he does off court. It could be contrived, but at the end of the day, like he's looking at the mistakes that those that came before him made and looking at what they're doing well and is trying to execute that. And the great thing about this move is you never know who he's inspiring that could be in the league or not even in the league yet, because they're going to be watching the moves that he's making from a business standpoint, from a standpoint of giving back. And, even if it's competing, it's funny. We like to compete on everything. Let's compete at who can give back the most.
Right. And shout out to Skyview in the chat room, who's giving a shout out to Braylon Edwards for sending 100 kids to college. So shout out to Braylon.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Shout out to Braylon, even though he can't get a job. Yeah. He didn't publicize it. His was real.
Yeah, was this before or after he got arrested for DUI? This is probably before.
Braylon actually on the low. Braylon Edwards is very community oriented. The problem is he's knucklehead and he doesn't advertise it, and it's not as fun to talk about the good things he does. So we just the things he's known for, which is being a drunk, dropping the mundane passes, catching the spectacular, and beefing with LeBron. I mean, those are the things we talk about with Braylon. What fun is it to talk about how many kids
the state of Ohio?
Yeah, he got kicked out of the entire state.
LeBron got him banished from Ohio. Yeah.
Listen, man, you come at the king, you best not miss. You know what I'm saying? Word to the wire. Another Omar quote. Anyway, listen, next story I want to talk about is one Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? Man, Rihanna, man. Oh my God. Anyway, Rihanna, she kind of sunned Matt Barnes because Matt Barnes, had alluded to in an interview that he had some sort of relationship with her, and she basically was like, "Yo, I don't even know ball." Now I did see he respond and say that
and there's jizz everywhere.
Man, listen.
And there's jizz everywhere.
Yo, who is that? But all I'm saying is he responded, say he's a grown man. He ain't got time for them games. What you guys think about the story?
Yo, man, salute Riri, man, just because of her genes, and the way that she's developed as a young lady through the years. I mean, I'm very pleased with the product that she puts out there. She need to leave the drugs alone a little bit. Slow down. But man, she puts a powerful product out there. And I don't know whether she's social media savvy from a business perspective, or it's just her generation because of the way she grew up. She's active on social media that she stays engaged with her fans. Like, they love her. What is it called? The Rihanna Navy or something. Yeah, they support her, even though she's known not to show up for shows and take $500,000 and just not show up. They still love her, because she stays engaged, and she will definitely get involved with her love interest, or lust. Is actually more lust interest online. She will let you know. She will tweet if she wants to pipe. She'll tweet if she doesn't want the pipe. She'll tweet if she wants the box. I mean, she lets you know. And yo, Matt Barnes, you a noodle for lying on your peen, man. That's not.
You know what though?
That's
I'm gonna go somewhere else. Don't touch that button yet, because I don't even know if we agree on that. Because he was in an interview afterwards saying, like, I'm too grown to be lying and stuff like this. Seeing the kind of dude or at least the kind of dude I think Matt Barnes is, I don't think he's lying. I think she's just disowning it. He might have been a little overzealous. It might have been like something where they trying to get to know each other, and he's already blabbing at the mouth as far as, I got a little friendship with Rihanna, but I don't think he's lying on his peen, because I don't even think he tried to say he's smutted.
That's possible. He is her type. Like, she likes the light-skinned pretty boy, barely touched by Africa type. That's so.
For me, if you ask me which one I believe, I think I would believe Matt Barnes in this situation. But he just got played. Like, there's somebody she didn't want anybody to notice she was, having conversations when the Matt Kemp, you already went out there trying to brag that me and Rihanna might take it to the next level, and Rihanna was like, "Whoa, slow down, cowboy." So I believe him.
I'm kind of on the side of Dev. Not so much exactly that, but my whole thing is it's basically he said, she said. So I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, yo, he shouldn't just have talked about it. Like, until y'all have a conversation,
he played himself.
Like, until you have a conversation, her name shouldn't have came out your mouth at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you was making sweet passion love to her, you can't no more, and who wouldn't want to do that?
Right. And even if he had a shot at it and hadn't yet, he's not going to now, because she's not going to go back on it, because she didn't already put you out there. Like, I don't even.
And the thing is, there had to be something there, because I agree with you, Austin. Like, her history shows that she likes people who have, like, the rape of slaves in their family history. In their family history.
But you know how notoriety. She likes famous dudes. She likes athletes, and she likes light skinned boys.
Y'all know how back in the day, back in the high school days, you get a chick number that you like, and the first time y'all talk, y'all on the phone at like 3:00 in the morning. Like, that's probably where they were with it, and then he comes out saying her name publicly. You know what I'm saying? Like, we aren't in that spot yet, Matt Barnes, so don't be a noodle. So I believe him that there was something there, but I think he still deserves one of these for running off at the mouth before he even got a chance to do anything. Because if you got a chance to do other things, and then she said this, if I'm you, I don't even care. Like, all right, I already did what I had to do, but you didn't even get there. So premature ejaculation of the mouth. Yo,
that means Rihanna got cap up.
His mouth bust fat. His mouth came fast like FedEx and busted.
Yo, Rihanna got game. She capped him all up. You know what I mean, she probably was on the phone at night giving him everything. Yeah, she gave him up. So sorry to you, capped up by a young lady, man. You know what I'm saying? At me, Rihanna. Yo,
Rihanna lightweight. Rihanna make these dudes get out of character a little bit. Not like
let's talk about somebody who would have reacted completely different to this story. Let's talk about B. Austin's homie Earl, aka J.R. Smith, who got
Earl
married.
already hit me under the pipe.
Yeah. No, I'm saying he would have reacted if she tried to play him. He would have reacted a little different. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, because he do everything on his phone, so he would have had proof.
Exactly. Yo,
showed you
Earl, Earl is needed in the league. Like he's needed. He's a complete savage when it comes to these young ladies. Like the story about him getting married. Now I don't know how true this is. He was allegedly in a relationship with a young lady for a couple years. He even brought her to the finals. Yeah, she was sitting with LeBron and the rest of the wives and girlfriends of all the players. And, you know, he had went away with her about a month ago and they had a great vacation, took pictures, posted them to IG and whatnot. They get back from the actual vacation and my man like goes to get some milk, you know, and comes back married to somebody else. So, you know,
tell mommy I ain't never coming back home.
You know, to a chick that he had knocked up years ago, but they weren't even in a relationship. From everything I'm reading, him and his other chick weren't in a relationship. They just had a conversation. He decided, look, I'm gonna get married to you, even though I've been spending the last 2 years with somebody else.
But there was a video that I saw on USA Today that he posted of him actually because it's his daughter's mom. So he and his daughter, he actually had his daughter present the ring to her mom and say, "Would you marry us?" And, you know, she said yes. See, that's where it gets a little cloudy, though, Jim, because like you said, like allegedly he married her. They said that they went to the courthouse and eloped. I didn't hear this from Earl himself. That's just what the media is reporting. So we know that there was a proposal or whatever you want to call that thing on the video, but we're not 100% sure that there was a wedding. I mean, if, you know, I like to see the family structure, you know what I'm saying? So if he did end up, you know, sowing his royal oats and then going back to his daughter's mom and they're going to get married and hopefully live happily ever after. I'm cool with that.
You got some.
You know, it's
a
little,
no. I don't know.
It's messed up that, it's messed up that he hurt the other chick's feelings probably, but
yo, he's a real dude. My man said he woke up like, yo, I don't even want to mess with you no more. Forget the fact that we just came off vacation. Everything seemed to be fine in that relationship. He just wasn't feeling it. Like, yeah, my man moves to the beat of his own drum, man. He's needed, man.
Yeah. I know he tweeted or Graham something that says something like, you know, sometimes the best things in life are like right in front of you, and you know, something hashtag that has something to do with destiny. So if that's the story, I'm with Jimmy. I'm with Jimmy because I've been a long time Earl supporter, and he's one of those dudes. He falls in the Tim Tebow category with me, and here's how and why. I know they're polar opposites, but as long as Earl is not on my Philadelphia 76ers, he is completely and utterly entertaining. Like Jimmy said, we need Earl because
need Earl.
Any
dude that fronts on Earl is only fronting on himself when he was 18 in high school, because Earl is just perpetually 18. He'll never grow up. And we would do some of the same things Earl does. It just happens that we wouldn't do them as grown-ass adult men. Like, dude never grew up. That's all. He's a young boy.
But here's my thing with Earl. Here's my thing with Earl, man. Earl is a real Libyan, and you guys know what I mean by that. And here's why Earl is a real Libyan, because he's a savage. He's immature, but he owns it. You know what I'm saying? Like some dudes are you know, Michael Sanders
try and front, and then put out a contrived image like they're not. Yeah. They're not immature.
But my thing is, Earl is who he is, and he doesn't shy away from that. Even if you consider him immature and all that, he doesn't shy away from it. He's a savage, and he listen. This is who he is.
Yo, it's like me. Segue and was drinking a beer right after the game.
It's like a conversation me and Dev had off air today or before the show, and I was like, yo, there's nothing wrong with being a hater if you can admit I'm a hater. Like, my thing is just own up to whatever it is you're doing or what you're saying, and yo, I can't hate on that. Like, yo, Earl is immature, but he's definitely needed, definitely entertaining, and like Dev said, on and off court, because he does something. He has erratic behavior on the court, which is also entertaining. So he's one of these guys that he's your favorite player if he's not on the team. And if he's on your team, you hate his guts. But as long as he can stay on the side somewhere else, we need Earl in the league, man. Anyway, man, salute to Earl, salute to his marriage and all that, man. And those are the stories that happened while you were on the grind. Tev, give some birthday shout-outs to those having a birthday.
All right, I'm going to give some quick birthday shout-outs, and then I'm going to let you guys know how to get in touch with us right on the other side of that. We're going to talk to Fred Perdue about some football. He's going to let us know what's on his mind and what's going on in the world of college football. So if you're a college football head, don't go anywhere. Stay in front of that radio, that computer, that phone, whatever you're on. Fred's coming right up after this. But birthday shout outs, as usual, brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions? You need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence. Top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices. Financing options are available, so visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, be sure to tell them War Room Sports sent you.
My birthday, yay!
All right, and celebrating birthdays this week, on August 19th, we had former New Orleans Saints quarterback Bobby Hebert. He turns 55. Yo, we getting old. Bobby Hebert.
Bobby Herbert.
Yeah, Bobby Herbert turns 55. Shout out to the ageless wonder Morton Anderson, also a former Saint. The kicker just turned 55. I think he played in the league until he was like 52. So shout out to Morton Anderson. He celebrated a birthday on August 19th. Ned Yost turned 60. Ned Yost led the KC Royals to a World Series appearance last season. So shout out to Ned Yost. Don King celebrated a birthday August 20th. Don King, only in America. 84 years young. 84 years young with the nappiest hair. It wasn't even nappy. He had I don't know. He like blow dried it, but just blow dried it straight up in the air. I don't know what was up with Don King and his hair, but I know Don King took Mike Tyson for like $200 million.
Don King said that in his book, the reason he did that is because basically it would make people remember him. It was part of him trying to craft the image. He was like, yo, I'm just going to draw. And I'm paraphrasing because he didn't say draw, but he basically said, I'm going to draw because it'll make me be noticed and stand out, and I will always be remembered. And the fact that you brought it up means that Don King was right.
You talking about his hair or the fact that he Richarded Mike Tyson?
Well, his hair is what put him in position to rob Mike Tyson.
Yo, he used to wear his hair like that, t-shirts, gold chains, and like jean jackets with puff paint on the back of them. Yo, why are you dressing like a young boy, like a young sweet boy? All right, but Bobby Hebert, Morton Anderson, Ned Yost, and Don King, salute from the War Room Generals to you. All right,
I just want to say real quick, shout out to Leroy McConnell, who gave us some more birthdays on Twitter. But a lot of these dudes are bums, so I won't mention them. I'll just give you one name and as an example, Tony Banks. But we ain't giving no birthday shots to some of these dudes, man. So shout out to Leroy McConnell, keep the birthdays coming, but not them bums.
Because KC Mack, man, even if you're a bum, for us to give you a shout out, you got to be a bum who did something memorable. Like if we were to say happy birthday, Gus Frerotte, like he was a bum, but he rammed his head into the joint, and that was one of the funniest moments in NFL history. So
definitely give a shout out.
Tony Banks just got replaced on a team that had one of the greatest defenses ever and didn't get to really celebrate the Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. So that's not really something that he wants to be remembered for, but it's all good. Shout out to him anyway. All right, you guys can check out our website at warroomsports.com. Be sure to sign up for the War Report. That's our company newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about our company, our show, to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or join in the network in any capacity. For general inquiries, email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. The blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and More blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, to subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network, and to download our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned right there. So you can join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/the war room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you don't have to. You can sign in through your Facebook and Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline will be open in a few minutes right after Fred Perdue. That number is 323-410-0012. Just press 1 when prompted. If you already listen from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And I just mentioned there about joining our network. So, it's a good thing that on the line with us, you guys already know him because of his weekly segment with us during college football season. But he will be our newest member of the network when his podcast gets on that War Room Sports Podcast Network in the next couple of weeks. Fred Purdue is in the house. What up, Fred?
What's going on,
Purdue?
Hey, what's going
Chilling,
on,
man.
Long time no talk, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And be on standby because Field Vision, that's going to start soon. We got to hurry up and get that underway before the season starts. So y'all can catch Fred on Field Vision with us also on War Room Sports TV. But y'all know his weekly segment is about college football. I know all you college football heads are excited. Fred, I know you're excited because it's your time of year. What's on your mind, man? What's going on in the world of college football?
Man, what is it? I love the NFL, and the offseason is great, and I've been following Tom Brady and all this other stuff in the NFL. But there is so much more going on in college football from you having players sign at a school, stay there for a few months, not like the coaching staff, and decide to transfer before training camp even starts. You have the 75th anniversary All-American list that actually I voted on earlier this year. It was actually released today by the FWAA, the Football Writers Association of America, which I'm a part of as well. That was dropped today. A lot of names that such as Jerry Rice, Larry Fitzgerald, Roger Staubach were all first-team All-Americans. Guys like Randy Moss, second-team All-American. Ed Reed, second-team All-American. That list, you guys can go find that out there. It's very easy to find. But it was a nice project to do, and I really like being a part of it and feel very honored to be a part of that too.
My man Randy Moss.
Straight cash, homie.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. Definitely.
Yeah, it was, man. It was a very large list, man. It was when you have guys like Ken Dorsey, and that's just a really recent 10 to 15 year guy being left off that list. You have guys like Johnny Manziel who didn't even get to sniff the list. Tim Tebow actually was the second team All-American on that list. And for me, saying I'm not really the biggest NFL Tebow guy, but for him to be as a strictly college guy, he was my number one overall first team quarterback. And for what he did for a conference, for a school in 4 years, it was amazing just to see what he did. And forget all the off the field stuff, but he was a very great quarterback. But again, that list was out there. You guys can go find that. But we have some recruiting news, I guess, if you want to call it that. Ricky Towns, he was one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He was actually offered by USC as, if I remember correctly, an 8th grader. He eventually decided. Yes, they've recruiting is so out of hand now. You have guys like you have schools like Miami recruiting 6th graders now. We're throwing offers out to 6th graders. It's getting to a point where
Got to get them early.
You definitely do have to get these guys early. But he was recruited by USC early when Lane Kiffin was there. And he just ended up committing to Alabama. He ended up decommitting from Alabama, committing to USC, signing to USC, and then going on to not like what was going on with the coaching staff. And he actually got there were a few recruiting analysts that looked at him after the fact and said there were a lot of red flags, such as when times got tough, he got going, and he's now decided to leave USC and he's transferred back into the SEC. So I have a little something to talk about.
Jadeveon Clowney. A little bit like Jadeveon Clowney.
Well, we
Very
indicated
much
the
like
dude didn't have. We can't say he didn't have a lot of time to change his mind.
Very much so. Very much so. And he's a very talented kid, but when you're flip-flopping, you've gone from SEC to Pac-12 back to the SEC, and now he's with Arkansas now, who if they ever find a quarterback under Brett Bielema, could be a very, very dangerous team. But that team, while they can run the football, they never can throw it. And it's been like that since really Ryan Mallett left. who we see how his NFL career turned out, but as a college player, he was a very good guy out there. But I would have an issue with this as far if I'm a Razorback fan, because what happens if he doesn't get a chance to play? Is he going to leave you next? It reminds me of
God is not making college quarterbacks any longer. So it's just athletes at the position.
I can't say that. I really can't. I can't agree with that, because I see guys such as Cody Kessler, who's at USC right now, who may be one of the top quarterbacks coming into the NFL. And when you have quarterback guys like Steve Sarkisian, you have quarterback guys like Lane Kiffin who can develop guys. Blake Sims, just going back to last year, if we want to say quarterbacks, he was for all intents and purposes, a spread option quarterback. Lane Kiffin developed him into a decent passer. He's not a quarterback in the NFL. He's going to change. He changed positions, but for him to be able to develop into a passer and beat out the guy that was supposed to take his job, and Jake Coker, who still isn't the guy at Alabama yet, I can't go with that one. There are a couple quarterbacks I like.
So we still talking about developing athletes in the quarterbacks who can't play quarterback at the next level. So he's the best quarterback in college. I mean,
Dang hard to be in here, but still.
Well, for me, and we want to stay on quarterbacks this year. I really like a lot of the guys that are out there. The Ohio State guys, throw them out the window. They're college quarterbacks. I don't see any of them going to the NFL. Cardale Jones, I'm sorry, you're not a quarterback.
Who's starting there?
Ohio State. I think it's going to be JT.
Quarterback by committee.
I think it's going to be JT Barrett. He does everything well. He doesn't have a single trait that he's elite in, but he's a leader on the field and off. He knows the offense like the back of his hand, and we know what he can do. We have a 3-game sample size for Cardale Jones. They're going to run the football.
Yeah, but I know Cardale going to be on his Dr. Dre voice like, I won this team a chip, and this the motherfucking thanks I get. Like, come on, man.
That's crazy. I think if JT Barrett would have won a national title with them had he been the quarterback. He also would have won the Heisman last year had he been the quarterback and not broken his ankle against Michigan. He literally he ran for 1,000 and threw for a couple thousand. You don't do that throughout a season. Those are numbers that you see Johnny Manziel and Tim Tebow and guys like that putting up. But you have it's strictly the college game between JT Barrett, who I think will be the starter, Trevon Boykin, who I think is just a complete animal at TCU. He's going to be the guy you want to watch it down there. You also have Jeremy Johnson, who was much better than Nick Marshall at Auburn. He's going to remind a lot of people of Cam Newton. He's 6'5", like 230 pounds. He has a gun for an arm. They have a bunch of good receivers. Duke Williams can get out of the doghouse, who's their 6'4" monster red zone threat, which they find everywhere. If he can come around, they could be pretty good. Everett Golson, he's a senior now. He's a fifth-year senior at transfer to Florida State after Notre Dame basically said, we're going to bring in the new guy and you're expendable. I think he could be pretty good. Cody Kessler again at USC. Sarkisian's going to throw the ball around. Watch out for his new favorite toy in Adoree Jackson, a corner coming over the receiver. He's a complete athlete. Coming out of high school, his thing was he could jump over people. He's only about 5'10", but he just randomly leapfrogs you. Just randomly at practice, he just leapfrogs guys, and I'm talking offensive linemen, 6'5", 6'6", and he just jumps over them. That was his thing as a freshman. He's kind of grown up a little bit, but those are some of the quarterbacks I like personally. And Brad Kaya, I got to put his name out there for the University of Miami as well. He's a good young quarterback. By Felicia. If anybody that's a Miami Hurricane fan or a fan of the movie Friday, his mom was Felicia. So by Felicia, we'll say that. But these quarterbacks are pretty good, man. If you go to certain schools where they're preaching the pro style game, the route tree that they're running, where you're running all the routes, not just hitches, goes, slants, and curls, and we're just spreading you out sideline to sideline. And we're getting under center, and you're having to do the drops. You're having to climb the pocket, stare down the gun barrel, make that throw like Jameis Winston does all the time. you when you have those guys from certain schools, you tend to be pretty good. Oh, and Connor Cook, by the way, at Michigan State, he'll be your Brian Hoyer, per se, going forward.
So everybody out there, these are your quarterbacks that you need to watch out for this upcoming college football season. Fred, we're kind of up against the clock, so let everybody know where they can find you on social media. Let them know where they can find your podcast, which they'll soon be able to find on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. But let everybody know.
Well, personally, you can check me out on Twitter at FPurdueSports. You can check out the podcast, the Eye on Sports Podcast, on Twitter at the EOS Podcast. Very simple to find. We record every Monday at 6:30 p.m. We talk about everything: basketball, football, baseball, soccer, golf, whatever it is, whatever's the hot topic of the week. We talk about it. We'll be talking NFL a lot. So if you love the NFL and if you love college football, that's where you want to be. You can also catch me on about.com. I am now their SEC contributor, covering everything SEC. I'm not biased. No, Kentucky, you will not get much coverage. I'm sorry, but we have better things to talk about. But everything SEC, actually, I have a couple projects coming out. Top 5 Heisman contenders coming out of the SEC, my All-American list, as well as my outlook of the SEC ranking every team plus their schedules.
Yo, Fred, real quick before you got out of here, Fred, to say that Tobias is waiting on hold and he wanted me to tell you roll damn Tide, so I'm doing that.
Roll Tide back. I can't roll Tide, but War Eagle this year. Sorry.
Shots fired. Shots.
Hey, yo, Tobias,
right,
Fred got
we
some
will
projects
see you
coming
next
out, so don't
week,
get no bars.
and we'll see you next week and every other week during the college football season. We'll see you on Field Vision, so we're in touch.
No doubt, man. No doubt. No Jay Cutler this year. No Jay Cutler.
All right, man.
When you gotta
everybody, make sure you check them out. F Purdue Sports on Twitter. So we're about to get into some football talk.
Hi, Peter King with the MMQB here, and you're listening to the War Room at the War Room Sports Podcast Network.
That was the greatest quote of all of last season. Is on Field Vision when Fred was like, the Bears are going to win because when you got a quarterback like Jay Cutler, and we didn't let that ride for the entire season.
I'm never going to
still
let
need
it
to
die.
sound
Like I'm never going to let
still
it.
need to sound bite it.
I'm never.
Oh yeah, we definitely gotta go back and get that sound bite.
Like a living infamy.
Never gonna let
Yeah.
a Zebo. I'm never gonna let a Zebo comment live down either. Zebo
Oh yeah,
can't go
my man,
left. He just goes right.
Zach Randolph came. Yo, Fred, I know you still
See,
listen, Fred.
but
Shout out to you, man. You got quotes for days, man.
You got
But
you got
only-
bars. No wonder you got a.
Be also the only thing though, the Zebo comment that's hearsay because he wrote that. Like we got audio of the Jay Cutler and video.
Yeah, and video.
That's all good, Dev. I believe you me. Screenshot, brother. I screenshot.
Yo,
everything.
it's all about these memes. It's 2015. It's all about these memes, man. Shout out to Fred. My man Fred got mad quotables, man. You got to bring more quotables back to Field Vision. We're gonna talk some football. I know Tobias wants to come on real quick. He has something he want to say in reference to college football. Let's bring him on before we talk
Jimmy, real quick before we get into that. Make sure you understand that Zach Randolph can't go left.
And for those who don't know why that's funny, that's on you. Let's get Tobias on. Tobias!
I caught that one too, by the way. Hey, the Jay Cutler will have you roll. I'm sorry. What's going on, people? What's going on, people?
Roll
Hey, man.
He just being honest.
Roll Tide.
He just being
I
honest.
just tell Fred, at least we ain't got Al Golden as a head coach. That's all I got to say. The University of Miami is about. Hey, the University of Miami is about as exciting as a burger from a gas station right now. But anyway,
Hey, Fred, in his defense, hates Al Golden's guts. So,
I know. Hey, I got a cousin. I got a cousin who's from Miami. He hates Al Golden also. I dig at Fred, but Fred brings some good stuff though. Now, as an Alabama fan, what's up with this Jay Coker guy? All right, because he's the oldest. Because he couldn't beat out. I want to help out Fred with Blake Sims. Blake Sims was playing running back most of his career at Alabama. Jay Coker couldn't beat out a running back. Now he's supposed to be our option for the national championship. All I gotta say, dude, if you're gonna put him out there with that schedule, see y'all at Shreveport this year. Cause ain't no way. You could be out a running back. You can't be out a bunch of freshmen. He ain't the guy, Nick. I'm sorry. How can he be safe? He couldn't be out a running back last year. And mind you, this running back, Blake Sims, he couldn't do his next read. If Amari Cooper wasn't open, he was running. And that just shows how good of offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin was. They pulled out a good coaching job when you look at that quarterback situation. And like now with no quarterback, Auburn has a better quarterback. I'll tell you right, Jerry Johnson, my hometown, may feel a little jaded. But I believe if he plays well and lives with the potential, he may be one of the top quarterbacks coming out in the draft. He may be one and done out there as an eligible player. But I just don't like our chances at quarterback because if this guy's your best option, we're done. I'm just being honest with you. Because he could be. It's like, I don't want you to win the job because you're the oldest. That means you weren't good enough to start in the beginning. Just be honest here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And I say this, because it shouldn't even be this close. And I say this about Matt Barnes. Thanks to you, Matt Barnes, you have just ruined a lifetime, an epic run by light-skinned dudes this year. Like, you gave light-skinned dudes their first L of the year, Matt Barnes, for lying on your Johnson like that. You know Rihanna's going to come back on you. Look at this, Drake.
He was lying, man. Because he didn't. All he said was he said friends and something like we might take it to the next level. So yeah, I think she's just playing him out because she didn't give him permission to tell anybody that she knew him.
He still violated. And
you need permission. Yeah, you need. No, I ain't gonna front. No, yeah, you. I mean, Rihanna is Rihanna. You need permission to tell people that you know Rihanna. Like you can't just go spouting off at the mouth. I don't think he told any lies. I think he just overstepped his bounds.
Can we just keep it real for 1 second? Why would Rihanna want to claim Matt Barnes of all the athletes that she could bang? Why would she want to claim him? She's like...
She doesn't. That's why she played him out. She probably just was going to smash him, and then he messed that up.
That is the equivalent of one of those regular guys out here who go to the club and end up taking on Petunia Pig because he's in the dry spell and you didn't get your rocks off.
You can say that, but look who Kim K was claiming in the league. Would you? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. And by the way, I give
you, this is something. Kim not on. I mean, for us, way back in the day. But this is something.
In terms of what, B. Austin? He said Kim K is not on Rihanna's level. In terms of what?
Not on her level.
In terms of what?
I don't think in terms of reach.
In terms of popularity. Oh hell,
yeah,
Kim K
reach and notoriety.
Kim K is way better than Rihanna.
Yeah, Kim K get more than LeBron get to tweet. And we're going to talk about LeBron's tweet game later. Like, what are you talking about?
I think on a global level.
No, dog.
Go ahead.
No, dog. You wrong with that. When Kim K was like listed as one of the most influential people in the world, next to presidents.
He does nothing.
Like, next to presidents. Intellectual. Kim K might be the most popular female in the world. All jokes aside. Either her, Beyonce up there too, but I'm telling you, all jokes aside, she breaks the internet.
I tell you this though.
I'm not saying that she did anything to deserve it, but I believe that.
Oh, I'm not either.
Yeah, her reach is crazy. Like Kim K for no reason is like the queen of England on this piece.
Even pregnant, I tell you what I mean.
And there's jizz everywhere.
And that.
Hey, I tell y'all this though. I want LeBron so he getting paid to tweet. I want someone to stand him like hopefully B. Austin says him like an emoji of somebody flopping. That's all I can say about him. Biggest dude in the league, built like a tank, built like a superhero, flop like a fish out of water. It just makes me mad every time I see that. But anyway, hey, you guys have a good one, and all I got to say is that hey, if we still don't have a quarterback, I'm gonna load up on the Jim Beam, man. I'm gonna load up on the strong and cheap stuff, man. That's all I got to say.
Jameis we trust. Jameis. Oh, you're talking about Alabama? Yeah, I feel you.
Hey, by the way, when Jameis with that Swiss cheese offensive line we got, Lovey may want to update that LinkedIn profile. That's all I got to say about him.
I don't know how he got a job anyway, but that's me. All right, man. All right, Tobias. I'll let you next
two, maybe the cover two.
Take it easy.
All right, that's super fact. Tobias, that's he the man. Tobias was like, look, man, let's be honest here, man.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
then just go in on people. I love
Gotta
it.
keep it real. Gotta keep it real, man. Listen, man. One of the bigger stories this week, which shows you how slow sports is, by the way. And a matter of fact, before we even get into that, because we definitely going to talk football for a couple minutes, strictly football. And for those who don't know, this NFL Wrap is brought to you by Fanatics. For the best of your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Go to our site, which is wormsports.com. Click on that Fanatics logo. You can also go to our sponsors page, which you will see Fanatics as well as our other sponsors. Click on Fanatics and you can get the latest NFL gear. I mean, you can get a lot of new jerseys. You can get a jersey of the best quarterback in the league, Robert Griffith III, a.k.a. the Cornball Brother. Go there and get your RG3 jersey. WarRoomSports.com and click on the Fanatics logo. Let's talk football.
Damn, Jim. We ain't capitalized on this story because we should have thrown our Fanatics RG3 ad up.
I know. I just threw that at the top of the dome. You know what I'm saying? Because I got these sports bars. I'm the king of sports bars. But listen though, Robert Griffin
probably told us to shove that ad somewhere.
RG Thrizzle, aka the Cornball Brother, he says in the interview that he's the best quarterback in the league and he has to go out and prove it. Now, no meme or anything had that second part on there, but I did see the part where he said, "Now I have to go out and prove it." So, you know,
I got his quote.
I know y'all want to go in. I personally do not think he's the best quarterback in the league. Do I admire him for thinking he's the best quarterback in the league? No, because I don't admire him at all. But I think that's what he's supposed to say. Like, what are you supposed to say? If someone asks me, I got the best sports bars in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? I do. Like, and I understand you say you don't. You got a different perspective on it, you know, and so give your perspective as well.
My perspective, and Jimmy's telling you guys, he was speaking with WJLA TV in Washington. And he did say, after throwing his teammates under the bus, he said, I feel like I'm the best quarterback on this team. I feel like I'm the best quarterback in the league. And I have to go out and show that. Any athlete at any level, if they concede to someone else, they're not a top competitor. They're not trying to be the best that they can be. There's guys in this league that have done way more than me, but I still view myself as the best because that's what I work towards every single day. Now, Jimmy, what you're saying is like on par with what he's saying, kind of like, what is he supposed to say? Well, you're not supposed to say that when, you know, you've been benched the last 2 years for dudes like Kirk Cousins and Colt McCoy. I'm not saying not to be a confident fellow, but I think sometimes there's a thin line between confidence and delusion. And he's quite delusional in some of the things he says, but it might not even be delusion. I just think he's a part of the culture where he thinks he has to say this to be viewed as, you know, macho or having bravado or having confidence. I think he thinks he's supposed to say that to exude confidence. But there's nothing wrong with saying one part of that, like, okay, I'm striving to be the best quarterback in the league. Like, you don't have to be delusional to be a confident individual. That's why I think his confidence is a little fraudulent. I think he says this stuff out of insecurity, personally. So I don't really think it has much to do with confidence. You know, he seemed to be confident in his first couple of years in the league, but the fact that, you know, he's always saying stuff like this, and it goes back to something we used to always criticize, like Donovan McNabb for the same thing. He had to always go out and tell everybody, this is my team, this is this and that. If you're the unquestioned leader, if you're the unquestioned best quarterback on the Washington professional football team, which a lot of people don't think you are right now, and if you're the unquestioned best quarterback, or even if you're in the conversation being the best quarterback in the league, you don't have to tell anybody that. How many times do you guys hear Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Andrew Luck and cats like that say, I'm the best quarterback in the league? They don't. Because we say it for them.
But now, that's a whole different point. I don't think that, you know, to be the best, you have to do that. It's sort of like when LeBron made his statement that he's the best player in the world. Like, you know what I mean? But the difference is LeBron is at a different level. No. But what I'm saying is, I appreciate dudes that are even if you call it delusional or irrational confidence. Listen, man, I'm with that. I don't think he's a top 20 quarterback. I think it's funny, and honestly, I think in his head, you saying that you think it comes from a sign of insecurity. I think he might really believe that. I think he might really be crazy. He might really honestly believe in his heart of hearts that he's the best.
I don't. I think he's insecure as hell.
I think he's crazy for feeling that way. But at the same time, man, it's sort of like B. Austin with his affinity for guys who think they're better than they are. The kind of guy that will go 0 for 13 and then come in and still continue to shoot. Like, my man's gonna get injured every year from now on out, and he's gonna come in every year and tell you how great he is. I think he's a piece of feces as a quarterback right now. I don't know if he has the chance to get better or have the ability to get better. Who knows? Only time will tell. But as of right now, you're no better than Ryan Leaf. But with this whole thing, I the whole thing was kind of blown out of proportion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand it's a slow sports week, and specifically with the training camps, they make everything bigger than what it is. But at the same time, man, I didn't have that much of a problem that I know y'all did. You know what I mean? We don't always agree on everything, despite what our fans think. But
it's not. I wouldn't even describe it as a problem. It's just, we're going to talk about it because this is what we do. And, my honest opinion is the dude is very insecure. He even went later because they shut him down in the media the day after. The Washington professional football team would not allow him to speak to the media. They said until after the preseason game against the Lions, but he still got in front of a microphone and said, I'm not apologetic for anything I said. He said the media uses me to get clicks and to get reads on stories. So it's like he never stops. He never stops. Like, okay, the media may use you at this point because they know you're going to keep lending them ammunition. If you shut up and stop saying dumb stuff, then we don't have to be woe is me. The media is doing this to me. The media is doing that to me. I know B. Austin.
And for RG3, for RG3 before B. Austin goes in, I know RG3 is a fan of the War Room. I just want to tell you that, man, in life, man, you're going to be used and you're going to use others. The thing is, just don't get misused, good brother. But we all use each other. Just don't get misused. Anyway, go ahead, B. Austin.
Boom. Clearly, I am the best talking head in sports. And these two brothers are just here to warm it up for me. They're my opening acts because I'm the best. When this goes without question, I just got to go out.
Colt. we Colt.
I just got to go out there. I just got to go out there and prove it to the world. But you guys know that I'm the best. Yo, Jimmy, I like the way you played this, brother, and you said you like these insanely confident guys. No, Earl Smith is insanely confident. Nick Young is insanely confident.
Yeah, this boy is insecure as they come.
Bob Norbit, aka 3, is an insecure little boy. And he demonstrates it and he shows it time in and time out. See, what you got to do is pay attention to the entire picture from the time he entered the league through where we are today. That dude does not believe it, and he's constantly looking for affirmations and confirmations of who he is, where he is, and whether or not he belongs.
Wait a minute, real quick, to expound on B's point, you have to also realize when these type of words come out of his mouth. These type of words come out of his mouth right after everybody is giving Kirk Cousins a bumpkin for something that he did.
The way he looked.
They are saying that Kirk Cousins' performance in the first preseason game was damn near flawless. He went 12 for 14, led the team, moved the ball well, went on a few scoring drives, or when, he and himself. That's when he starts to spout this stuff off. When you hear your backup getting a lot of praise and credit, that's when he comes out with his insecurity, like, "Oh, I'm the best quarterback."
You see Kirk Cousins come in and try and take my shine, man. I'm RG3 right now, dude. Don't take my shine, man.
We having a conversation.
Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback on that team. When he comes into the game, he moves the offense. Now, what he is not is the most talented QB. There is a difference. The obvious most talented QB on that team is Robert Griffin III. But that hasn't translated for a number of reasons. The chief of which we're talking about right now is a thing called humility and work ethic. The other thing we'll give him, which I won't say is an excuse, but a reason, is his injury history has put him in a position where when OTAs are going on, typically he's rehabbing. So he's already 2 seasons behind the learning curve of where he should be as a developed NFL quarterback. And if you think back to the Mike Shanahan interview, to where he threw Robert Griffin under the bus repeatedly, backed the bus up, ran it forward, ran it forward. There were some tidbits of truth in there. And one of the things that came out was when Robert Griffin went down with the knee injury and Kirk Cousins came in and they changed the play calling to a more traditional pass focused offense without all of the option plays. Robert Griffin and his father realized, oh, there's a problem here. They treat this guy like a real NFL quarterback, and they got me running around here like a track athlete running a single wing T. And he took note of that, and he came back to the coaching staff and said, dictated after speaking to the owner, to ownership, Dan Snyder, and said, these are the plays that I feel comfortable running, and I no longer will be running the option. I'm not going to run that play. Now, he did end up running it afterwards because he, in the heat of the moment, he wants to win. He's a competitor, but he hasn't developed his skill as a quarterback. It hasn't happened for him because of a combination of things. I think it's his focus and work, but I also give him not an excuse, but the reason, injury has played a factor in him when he should be learning and developing the nuances of the game. He's had to rehab. So now here's the character flaw. You're coming out.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute. I don't buy that. I don't buy that because in OTAs, if you're not, in a position where you can basically physical stuff, like you could be glued to the film room, because a lot of what's lacking in his game is the mental part of the game. So, physically, he can make all the throws, maybe not that accurately. So yeah, he might not be able to get to work on his accuracy like that. But in no way, shape, or form do I buy that his injuries have set his development back, because he could be a film room maven. He should be the smartest quarterback in the league right now, since he's always rehabbing around the time it's time to get going. That's all I wanted to say.
But a part of what keeps him going is that me against the world. He's a narcissist. He has some narcissist traits. He's very self-centered. So he takes that, as a lot of athletes are, and a lot of athletes do this. He takes that me against the world approach, and it's everybody else kind of coming down on him, and he uses that for motivation. But the problem is he really doesn't believe. He doesn't really believe that he's as good, which is why he has to continually tell you how good he is, or tell you that he's this, and there's no connection with his teammates, which is why periodically when he gets into it and there's an accountability thing as far as why the team is in disarray, instead of stepping up and taking all of that, he finds a way to consistently blame other people. So now you're telling us how great you are. When things don't go right, you have an excuse. You blame it on your teammates, and you're not delivering on the field. Dude, yo, shut up. Shut the F up. Yeah. Go work out.
He don't even have the leadership part down enough to even mention being the best quarterback in the league or anywhere near it, let alone his production and his play on the field. Like, he doesn't even have the leadership part down. Like, the locker room is split down the middle of whether, of dudes who and dudes who don't really care for the attention that you get that's kind of unwarranted. So he has a long way to go. I'm not counting him completely out, because, I think if he worked hard enough, he has the talent to become good. But in Washington, since we're in the area, still a lot of excuses floating. It's different though, because 2 years ago in the media and throughout
they were calling him Jesus.
The fans, he was like Jesus.
Our Jesus.
Now,
our Jesus.
They go in on this dude on the radio station every day, but there's still that small contingent that still, calls up and defend him and do what you just said he does, blame it on everybody else but him. They're talking about we got to be patient, but you're in your 4th year. Like, the other talented quarterback from your draft is damn near the second best quarterback in the league right now. So nobody's trying to be patient because when he was doing his thing his rookie year, everybody in this town said he was better than Andrew Luck. So nobody, you know, if I was a fan, I wouldn't be on this patient bandwagon because they thought they had it after 1 year. And it's gone all downhill ever since. But his comments are, you know, people can say what they want. Like, you know, he has a right to say what he wants. And like Jimmy says, he thinks he actually believes that stuff. I just seeing him, his interactions every day, I just don't believe it's sincere. I think it's different from LeBron, though, B, because I know you said something about that earlier. I don't necessarily think LeBron doesn't believe that he's the best player in the world. I think that's just a defensivism for LeBron. He got salty, and, you know, he wants everybody to like him. So when people start coming down on him, he says things like that, just like he told everybody after the playoffs that year, y'all got to go back to your miserable lives, and I'm going to be okay. When they started coming down on him in the NBA Finals because they were losing, you know, it got to the point where, well, I'm the best player in the world. So that's just his defense mechanism. For RG3, it's a lot of insecurity, you know, involved in the stuff that this dude says, man.
Oh, I agree. And when I say he's similar to LeBron, I'm speaking more to the defense mechanism as opposed to the stature in their respective leagues and even the talent. Like LeBron is almost far and away the best in the world at what he does. And I would venture to say that Bob Norbert is probably bottom 5 QB in the world.
Send me to Africa with some sneakers, some free sneakers. I'll find somebody better than Bron.
Yo, all right, man. Listen, we got someone in line that wants to make a comment in reference to this. Let's get the homie on the line real quick. Rob calling from California. What you got to say, Rob?
Yo, what's up,
I'm
man?
watching
Your
this
boy,
video.
Rob,
Cowboys
man.
got their ass whooped.
Okay. Yeah.
What up, Rob?
Sure. The Cowboys. Nah, it's all about the Eagles. And yo, all I gotta say is, yo, y'all light skinned boys, Matt Barnes, stop lying, dude. Just because you at LA anymore doesn't mean, you know, you gotta come with lying. Come on, man.
Right there, Barnes lied.
Stay there.
Your credibility went downhill quick. I thought everybody thought he was the goon who spoke his mind and did what was on his mind. Now Rihanna say something, everybody think he a liar.
Yeah, he going to
Same
say he got
beat up and went back to the dude, man. Why she got credibility like that?
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, man. You know, if it was me getting him, man, I'll be doing silent like a hitman, man. Just silent, quick like a ninja, in and out, man. My breath be smell like pineapple, and my scent would be like jerk chicken. But anyways, man,
I tell y'all.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah. I tell you. My schmiggity. I ain't got no respect for her, I tell you.
Yo, shout out to the Cowboys for doing their thing, you know what I'm saying, jumping people. I was no real fight. I looked like some out of the playground, some out of recess. But you know, my fault. There's a lot going on in sports. Just in Philly.
Hey, Rob, you cool, man? Sound like Rihanna over there with you right now, man.
You know, summertime. Hey, sorry, man. Huh?
It's like Rihanna. It's like Rihanna over there taking care of you now, man. You can't stay on point, man. What's going on?
I got big plans for the region, hopefully. But here's the thing. The Colts win was nothing. I don't really expect nothing for this season. I told y'all before, I only expect us to win at least less than 7 games, probably 6 games at the most. Matt Barkley plays exceptionally well. Sanchez is probably going to move to probably a 4th string. He probably going to be off the roster by next year if he doesn't improve. I'm taking a game by game basis. He can't, you can't be in the league so many years and not and be making, I wouldn't say rookie mistakes. I'm gonna say like just college football, like sophomore, freshman football mistakes. Just not his accuracy, just so off. The line looks
because
terrible.
of the experience. I would take Sanchez as a backup any day because of his experience.
Hell no, not the way he's playing. I mean, by the way, what Well, are people still surprised that Tim Hasselbeck is still in the league? But that see here or there. The defensive line looks amazing. The run defense looks amazing. Hopefully, it'll be top 5 in the league. The secondary hasn't shown me anything. You know, like they say in boxing, you know what I'm saying, show me something. They haven't shown me anything. I still think Maxwell's overpaid, overrated. Other than that, yeah, and you notice that Shepard got hurt right when we traded Brandon Boykin, so it's still sitting at cornerback. So yeah, that goes to Chip Kelly, man. That's just, you know, one apple spoils the whole bunch. You know, God don't like ugly. So that's all I got to say about that. By the way, sorry Philly fans, thank you for Dentley. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, the Dodgers, they traded. I don't know why they did it.
Hey, Rob, man, listen.
I do root for Philly.
Chase Utley is my favorite Philly from the championship years, the years they made a run. But Chase Utley fell off like 6 years ago. You ain't got to thank us for that.
Hey, Rob, man, man, I just want to say, man, like, we ain't got that much time, man. You got to talk about more important stuff, man. You can't be coming on and talk about the Eagles preseason. It's a preseason game, man. You got to call up and talk about Lala, like, I mean, what Lala doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but at any rate, man.
No, real talk. Chase Utley fell off like 3-4 years ago, man.
You bringing up Chase Utley? You like, who don't care about no
like,
Chase?
He said thank you, like the Dodgers just came up. Like, nah.
I do.
Chase my man.
I do.
That's my man. 50 grand.
I do want to ask y'all this, because I haven't talked to y'all about LeBron, about what he did for the kids in Akron.
Yeah.
If I'm right, you know, do you think LeBron can improve his brand as far as investment in his community?
That's what he's doing. That's what he's all about. His brand improves every day. Yeah, LeBron, his brand is going to continue to improve. LeBron is going to be that billionaire athlete.
When we put the podcast out, listen back to it, because we had a long dialogue about LeBron and you know, what he did, man. So, you know, we can't do nothing but salute LeBron for that. But listen back on the podcast, because we had like a lengthy discussion about it. But Rob, thanks for the call. We got to move on because we got some stuff to get to before we get out of here at 8, man. We appreciate the support as always, man.
Tell Rihanna we said hi, man. Tell Rihanna we said hi, man.
Tell Rihanna we said what's up.
Hey, she ain't gonna be doing all the talking, so you know.
Her mouth should be full. What are you talking about?
All right, good brother. Take it easy.
All right.
Yeah, man. So we talked about Robert Griffin III. You guys are down there in the DC area, so I want to know what you guys think about Chris Cooley, who's publicly lobbying to get back on the Washington football team, man.
Yo, publicly lobbying is being nice. He's begging to get back on the football team. Anybody who's watching know that, you know, they lost 2 tight ends during their first preseason game. Cooley is a radio personality in the city, and he's been working out because he wants to try to play. Man, he's been on like most of the show. Like, of course, they got to talk about Robert Griffin half the time, but the other half of the time on his show and most of the other shows in the city, talking about Chris Cooley, and if he's not talking about himself, I mean, he's gone out of his way saying, you know, I'm better than what they have. This dude hasn't played in 3 years, and there's probably a reason why you haven't played in 3 years. Chris Cooley was good during his time, but I think what he's doing is kind of adding to the ring circus that is the Washington professional football team. It's a little divisive what he's doing because he's using his radio platform to give information that we wouldn't otherwise know as fans. B, did you hear when he was saying, well, 3 out of the 4 decision makers are on board with me coming back? So he's already dividing right there, because everybody kind of knows who that is, because Scott McCloughan, the new GM, already went public and said, no, we're not going down that road. So he's talking about Daniel Snyder, Bruce Allen, and probably the coach, who's probably a little indifferent, Gruden. He'll say anything because his job isn't all that secure. But this shows you that nothing changed there, because if the owner is still making decisions or even, you know, a part of giving this dude hope when the GM that they hired, because he's supposed to be so good with his history, and they're supposed to let him do his. If Chris Cooley can go on the radio and say, well, 3 of the 4 decision makers are cool with it, then you still got a divisive situation here. And for somebody who claims to love the team on the level that he claims, like, why would you be adding to this clown show, Cooley? Just
Fell to the Deadskins. Fell far on the warpath. Losing for old DC. Humble, pick, we're sore. We don't want any more. Beat us, swamp us, interception. Let the points and Eagles soar.
Look, man, it's a clown show here. They got defensive linemen doing a peanut butter jelly dance. I've heard that they reached out to Michael.
That's what the last place practice looks like, B.
Chris Cooley is trying to come back. Bob Norbit is doing his best Willie Beeman impersonation in the middle to the beginning of the movie. Yeah, it's sad down here. I feel really bad for the best player on the team, which is their running back, because he doesn't deserve this. Neither really does Pierre Garçon. He doesn't deserve it either. Man, Chris Cooley, you honestly, with what I've heard, and I haven't heard that much, Dev, but with what I've heard, I would say that for this week, yo, Chris Cooley.
Yo, he went on
because you want to be do that through back
he
channels,
went on
man. Don't do that.
He went on the air with a proposal, like a contract proposal, telling them like there's no risk to you. He said stuff like he would take the veterans minimum, but he would waive his injury rights. So if he got injured, they wouldn't have to pay him for the rest of the year. He said he would give $50,000 of his salary to charity. He said he would hold like tight end classes at his house for all the young guys like twice a week. He was just saying a bunch of stuff what he would do to get back onto this team. And then he left off saying, well, I'm going to play this year. I'm going to play somewhere, but that deal is only for Washington. So he thinks he's going to play somewhere regardless, but he wants to give them a super duper hometown discount and make it a situation where it's no risk to them.
Now, again, I have a different perspective. I'm not in the area. I didn't even know he had a radio show. But I look at this a couple ways from the outside looking in, so to speak. It's like, for me, he could be dead serious, but it could also be like, yo, you need something to talk about these days in sports. He could be doing this in some way just to fill the air on his show and still meaning at the same time. And he could be drawing, but at the end of the day, if he was able to get a gig, so like, yo, he looking out for himself. He don't care about that team, what kind of mess they in. If he can get a check out of it to put food on his family, God bless him. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna find an organization and keep like talking about, and hopefully they'll cut us a check too.
Yeah, it's just when you hear him every other day, you know, talk about how much he loves the organization and this and that. Like, why add to the circus? Why add to the circus? And why put it out there that 3 out of the 4 people, you know, that make decisions are on board? So it's like you tell us
the way I look at it, if he's doing that multiple days on his show, then obviously it struck a chord with someone. Like, it's probably people like you who listen to it or are disrespecting him, and it's probably people who will listen to it riding for him. But either way, he's probably struck a chord with that in that area where people are listening to him. So he found something he can stick on for a couple of days. He
got co-hosts and fellow. He got co-hosts and fellow station hosts that's kind of like, yeah, Cooley, chill. Like, they're trying to say it in the nicest way possible. They preface it like, Cooley's a friend of mine, and I enjoy Cooley, and Cooley's very knowledgeable, but
chill out.
Man, like we always say though, man. You know, attention is money. People evil attention is. It's like, if you can get people talking about you, even if it's negative in 2015, that's a win. That's a win.
He
it's
wants
all about
to play,
these teams, man. It's all about these
teams. He wants to play. I don't even think this is an attention ploy. He really wants to play.
And he could really want to play, but he also is filling up space on his radio show. And if he's saying 3 out of the 4, I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know whether he's telling the truth or not. He could have made that up. He could make that whole 3 or 4 thing up.
We're gonna reach out to him. We're gonna try and get him on, and he can tell us whether he,
if you can actually do that and it works, talk your way into some chicken, then God bless you. Anyway,
just
man.
there's a dysfunctional enough organization where he might be able to do it.
And the thing about the Redskins,
no real football team will pick you up like that off of 3.
The thing about the Redskins is this though. It's like, yo, even in sports, as long as you can be talked about, you're winning, even if you're not literally winning. I mean, the Cowboys started this formula years ago. You know what I'm saying? So the Redskins are somehow on the national stage, and they're a mess. But on a national stage, it's a lot of teams that's a mess. So let the mess continue, man. With that being said, man, speaking of the NFC East and the team being a mess, there's some noise in the NFC East about Elijah Manning, another one of the Manning boys. He wants some more bread. And he says he wants to be the highest paid player in the entire National Football League.
In the world, Craig. In the world.
The highest paid player in the league. This is Alicia Manning. What do you gentlemen think about Alicia Manning and his demands to be the highest paid player in the entire league?
He's a little delusional. He's a little delusional. I don't, what's on his side? History, 2 Super Bowl wins. he's definitely been a, if we want to break down the whole elite thing by numbers, Dev, I know you don't do it this way, but 32 teams. I take 4. I think there's 4 elite quarterbacks, and then behind them, there's another 4 to 6 guys that are very, very good, but I wouldn't consider them elite. That's the pinnacle of his career. I think he's made it into the group that's underneath his brother, Brady, Drew, and Aaron. I think he's made it into that group at one point in time. I do not think he's there right now, but he's probably looking at Joe Flacco, and he's looking at Matt Ryan, and then he's looking at Russell Wilson, and he's like, yo, I'm better than them dudes. And
now a couple things. I want to say real quick.
And he definitely looked at Cam and was like, yo, I'm way better than him. So
all right, here's a couple things real quick. I agree with you about the elite thing. I think the way it is you got the best quarterback in the league at RG3. Beneath him, you got the 4 elite, and then you got like the next level and everybody else, right? So with that being said, right,
I agree.
Eli has also came out and dispute that he wants to be the highest paid. He said that never came out of his mouth. Right. It also never came out of his mouth that he didn't want to play in San Diego and wanted to go to New York, but somehow that happened. So, I'm just saying, Eli, he said it never came out of his mouth. He didn't say it didn't come out of somebody from his team's mouth. He said it never came out of his mouth. So shout out to Eli.
He said it didn't come from his agent either. But it came from somebody.
Everybody knows that when you're at that level, you have a team. You don't have just an agent and yourself. You have a team. So Eli, to me, it sounds like you're playing semantics. It probably was his pop. Because remember, his pop was the whole thing that orchestrated that San Diego thing.
He said his dad heard the report first and, quote, allegedly called him upset. So he's protecting his pop. I guess he's saying, well, maybe it was Peyton. Peyton, like, I'm about to retire. Why don't y'all pay my
Cooper did it. Cooper did it, man.
All right. Let me give you my take on this. And I'm going to preface this by saying, for anybody who's out there listening, because I know a lot of y'all, you don't listen. I do not think Eli Manning is the best quarterback, best player, best anything in the league. I do not think that Eli Manning should be paid more than every other person in the NFL. However, what I do believe, though, is the way they negotiate in the NFL, because a lot of these contracts get negotiated on what you did for me. I mean, we and a lot of other situations in sports is like a what have you done for me lately type thing. But a lot of these guys get paid after they do what, the best thing that they're ever going to do. If you think about everybody in the league who we hold in higher esteem than Eli Manning, who probably makes more money than Eli Manning, the only dude in the league that has more of a bargaining chip. And right now, he doesn't even have that because he's too old to have that bargaining chip. And I'm talking about Tom Brady. But if we think about people that we probably all would agree, like, well, this guy should make more than Eli, Aaron Rodgers being one of them. A couple other guys that we might be able to think of. Eli Manning really has a bigger bargaining chip than all of those guys, besides the fact, when you start factoring in age versus other quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers got 1 championship. Eli Manning has 2 and played a major role in carrying the team to that point. He was, a bystander along for the ride. He wasn't just chilling in the back seat. I believe Eli has 2 Super Bowl MVPs as well. So he has a major bargaining chip for the way they like to negotiate in the NFL. But in no way, shape, or form do I think Eli Manning should be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Well,
they're going to pay him off
based on that
logic.
Done,
he has a cake.
I'm not mad. He's going for his cake. I'm not mad at him.
Yo,
yeah. I mean, like Eli Manning saying, "I want to be the highest paid player in the NFL," isn't as silly as Robert Griffin III saying, "I'm the best quarterback in the league." Like he has a slight cake, and he plays in the biggest market. Jim. He got the.
My take is this, and anyone knows I'm pro people trying to get their chicken. I'm all about robbing the organization, and I'm also all about the organization taking advantage of you. So basically, I'm a capitalist. With that being said, man, Eli, go get your bread if you can get your bread. You do have the bargaining chip. It's still funny to hear because Eli to me is hilarious. He's like a girl who's amazing looking, and yams are amazing, but she has an attitude that just gets on your nerves. So, and the reason I said Eli will have like 3 or 4 games where he looks like he's the best quarterback in the entire league, bar none. And the next 2, he'll look like the
then he throws the ball to the other team.
The next 2, he'll look like
throws the ball to the other team. You'll be like, "What are you talking? What are you doing?"
It's hilarious to me because he'll have spurts. He'll have spurts where he looks like he's the flat out best. Then he'll have spurts where he's the flat out worst. But he has 2 championships that cannot be denied. And like Dev said, he played a part in that. He wasn't along for the ride. Shout out to David Tyree. He
turned otherworldly in the playoffs sometimes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Eli is hilarious. He can either go otherworldly, like I don't know, like maybe he has a routine he needs to stick to, and he forgets it, or maybe it's a certain drug he takes. I don't know what is going on, or maybe it depends upon what's going on in his personal life. Because sometimes, maybe when his wife makes him mad, he goes out there and balls out of control or something. Who knows what it is? But he's like that girl that you be like, she's amazing. Then you hate her the next day.
Oh,
I don't give excuses often, B. I don't give excuses often, and I'm not even going. There's no way I'm going to absolve Eli from any blame in these situations. But when you talk about his interceptions, I swear, not everyone, but more than any quarterback in the league, I swear when Eli Manning throws interceptions, sometimes them joints don't be his fault, and I don't give that excuse very often.
But no, he also
not
got
all
some
of
that
them.
be like.
Not all of them. Some of them are just boneheaded. Some of them are just boneheaded. He turns his back and tries to throw the ball off 1 foot. But he throws a lot of picks where I'm like, damn, that bounced off both hands. Damn, dude turned the wrong way.
He throws so many picks that even if you take them away, he still got 20. My man be throwing like 30 and 40 picks. Even if you take away the picks that ain't his fault, he still got like 20.
If you turn the Bulls picks into touchdowns, he had a great season. That's how many picks he throws sometimes. Like he had like a 28 pick season or something crazy. Like, and I know what you're saying. Because Hakeem Nicks and Ramses Barden and some of them dudes that they had in there. They wasn't good. They wasn't good at all. But
he always has the face like the route. It's something wrong. And,
all right,
when you look back.
I got a question for both of you guys on Twitter. Just came in. It's in reference to Eli. What we're talking about. It says, where do you rank Eli in terms of Eli, Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers? Those were the guys that came in that year. Where does he rank amongst those guys?
He third. I take Phillip up Rivers is a mini poor man's Peyton Manning. I take Phillip Rivers over both of them.
I don't know about
I'm taking Eli before I'm taking Phillip. I'm taking Eli before I take Phillip because I'm not going to go on the everyday performance and just the everyday numbers, man. You have to look at what happened And B, the biggest proponent of this, what happens at nut cutting time. And Eli and even Ben, Ben has had, after a slow start, in my opinion, to his career, Ben is become a very clutch quarterback. I think in the beginning, Ben Roethlisberger was along for the ride. Pittsburgh Steelers, he was along for the ride. Then he turned into that guy. But I'm not taking Rivers, and I'm not just saying just because he doesn't have championships. But the San Diego Chargers, in a few of those years, they were the favorites to win the championship, and then got in the playoffs and wet the bed. So I don't know, nut cutting time. I don't know if I could put Phillip up there.
I'm going Ben. You made me John Kerry. I'm going Ben Roethlisberger, number 1 on that list. I'm going Phillip Rivers, number 2, and I'm taking Eli third.
Yo, it's funny because I kind of agree on that. Like, I hate to say this, man, because he's a Steeler, but Ben, to me, is right on the cusp of being with those other guys. Like, you said it's 2 tiers. I think Ben might be at the top of that tier because –
But he's like the quiet top of the tier because you never –
like
you have to remember to say his name.
He's like a poor man's Elway. Like, he don't put up 60 touchdowns and all the crazy numbers that some quarterbacks put up, like someone like a Stafford will put up. But he makes plays at the time they're needed. He knows how to control the offense, control the game. He does a lot of things that won't show up on a stat sheet. And he will not be denied. Even when it comes to getting the yams, he will not be denied. So it's like, you got to give that man credit for that. And like Dev said, man, at the times when he's needed most, he steps up. So I definitely would put Ben to answer the question.
Some crazies last year.
He did. He started to put up.
This is the Antonio Brown. He's got Antonio Brown running around with that little ass hat.
Except for, but B, this everybody's going over 4,000. But Ben last season he had 4,902 yards passing, 32 touchdowns, and 9 and that's quiet. Yeah. And they win 11. And people don't talk about Ben Roethlisberger like that. Like you have to remember to give him his props, and then people give him his props once you bring him up.
I know because there's so many for years. There's been so many other big personalities at Pittsburgh team, and Ben isn't really a big personality. Like he's not very charismatic, and so we kind of felt neither is Eli, but Eli plays in a huge market, and Eli at times, not definitely not presently, but at times has been the best or second best player on it.
All right, but here's the thing, though, man. We just talked about Ben for a nice amount of time. I hope Jim from the Sports Kings doesn't hear this part because he's gay for Ben. But listen though, he is everywhere. But here's the question that none of you guys answered, right? We talked about. We said it's not crazy for him to ask this, if indeed he did ask it. Now I'm gonna put you on the other side. I told you I'm a capitalist. I'm all about people asking for their bread, but I'm also about teams pooping on players. If you're on the other side of the table, if you're the Giants, how do you respond to this?
Hell no.
I mean, I'm not going to disrespect him, but I'm going to try to negotiate something where he's among the top paid quarterbacks in the league. I mean, we play in the biggest market in the world. We make a ton of money, merchandise and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to give Eli all the credit for that, though. I mean, New York is the kind of market where they have diehard rabid fans, no matter what the team is doing and what they look like. But the dude did deliver them along with his team. He led them to 2 pretty recent championships, and both games they weren't supposed to win, that they weren't favored to win. And dude just turned otherworldly in the playoffs. So, if I don't believe in rewarding dudes for stuff that happened years ago, but that seems to be, what they kind of do in football sometimes. And he's still young enough to get another diesel contract. I would negotiate something where he's among the highest paid players in the league, but just to flat out make sure his dollar amount exceeds everybody else's, like we got to do something else, Eli. Like we're not just gonna go crazy right here.
You can get 60
reward to do, man.
You can get 68. You can get 4 years, 68 million, 34 guaranteed. That's 17 million a year. contract.
Well, this year he's making 17, but that's less than what Cutler's making this year. That's less than what Ryan Tannehill is making this year. The best quarterback in the league. The best quarterback in the league is making 16 this year. RG3, they picked up his $16 million option. So, you know, if you want to get Eli, when he denied it, Jim, he said that he's still cool with not even bringing this up now and actually getting this done after the season is over. So we'll see.
All right. Well, let's stay in the NFC East. We talked about the Redskins. We talked about the Giants. Now let's go to the Cowboys. What's up with the Cowboys and all these rumbles? The Cowboys and Rams had a joint practice and there was a brawl. Cowboys have been rumbling all season. What's going on with the Cowboys? And another thing is, what's up with these joint practices? I see a lot of fights at all these joint practices.
Yo, the Cowboys signed Michael Sam. Everybody know they sweet. They know they sweet for it.
Yeah. I think the second part of what Jimmy said is the bigger issue. I think these joint practices, I'm starting to wonder, like, is it something that the league needs? Because, you know, you already have your fair share of camp rumbles within the team. But when you bring another team onto the organization's practice field for multiple days, leading up to another showdown with them in a preseason game, like, you know, that's a lot of testosterone flying. There's a lot of dudes out there trying to prove themselves. And when they have somebody else outside of their organization to prove themselves against, you know, dudes start to act tough. We saw the same thing with Washington and the Houston Texans. They had an all-out brawl. It seems like because they're doing these joint practices, the brawls are much worse than the normal training camp brawls we see between guys just trying to make the team or veterans beating up on rookies or whatever. So I'm wondering if this is even necessary because it could get dangerous. Like that caught we saw a real bad shot.
It definitely has to stop.
Could have caught a Kermit Washington the other day, man. If
like
dude could hit,
it's not just about one case. I mean, we've seen the same thing happen to Kane. I mean, but the thing is though, it's honestly happened. And it has to stop. I read a report the other day that talks about sports in the youth now. And it talks about how by the time a professional athlete makes it to the pros, like the wear and tear in their body is the same as someone who played like 10 years in the league, you know, years ago. Meaning that because you play all year round, then there's all these practices and then there's all this. So I'm thinking like these contact practices with other teams are so unnecessary. Like by the time the season starts, dudes are going to be hurt. And I don't know if you guys noticed over the last, say, 3 years, it's a lot of star players in every major sport who are just not able to play.
Going down early.
Yeah.
Not what?
Like
Kelvin, shout out to Kelvin Benjamin. Get well.
That's another one. Kelvin Benjamin tore his ACL. Yeah. Like, you know, all this offseason is out of control. Like everybody wants to be the best, so they're doing what they can do. But in reference to Kelvin Benjamin, and B. Austin bring that up, how big of a loss is that for the Panthers?
Pretty sizable.
It's big.
I mean, he's the type of target that an accurate. He's the type of target that an accurate quarterback doesn't need. So when you got an inaccurate guy, you want a very large catch radius, and that's what he brings to the table. My thing with Kelvin Benjamin is as they make these wide receivers, or they keep the trend is large guys on the outside. A 240-pound man isn't meant to run the routes that wide receivers are asked to run. If you watch the difference between an outside wide receiver and a tight end, tight ends only run like 4 or 5 routes, really. A wide receiver, not only do they run 9 routes, they run variations on those 9 routes with a lot of cuts and stops and starts. That's too much wear and tear on the knees. Not to say Kelvin isn't a great talent, great hands. He's a terrible route runner. But he's trying to develop. I imagine as a route runner, that's too much wear and tear on his knees, man. He got 240 pounds.
Yeah, I agree with B. Austin. Like, it's just too much. It's just way too much. And shout out to at KCMac38 on Twitter. Just sent a tweet in. And, you know, I always talk about this, and he brings it up. The NFL.com is showing all those different practice brawls on their website. So they're using this themselves. They want to come out and play the holier than thou, but they got all those fights on their website. So shout out to Roger Goodell.
I'm just starting to think that these joint practice sessions are just getting a little too much, man. Because you know, you're willing to go there with another team quicker than you're willing to go there with your team. And there, you know, like I said, Dez Bryant could have been seriously hurt. He wasn't. but he caught one square. He still might even get in trouble for it because they got rules against running into the fracas when you weren't a part of it. He was actually talking to the owner, saw it going on, and ran over to protect his teammates. And what head wasn't on the swivel. And why do you run over there without a helmet on? Caught himself.
No,
but these practices getting dangerous.
We're talking about practice, not a game. We're talking about practice.
Before we get out of here,
Dez Bryant hit his
silly
mom?
is that?
He beat his mom up. I don't like that dude.
Before we get out of here, let's talk about a couple. Let's talk about a couple hot topics. Before I get into those, Dev, tell everybody how they can listen to what we're doing real quick.
You can check out our website at warroomsports.com to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics. Dial the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you'd like to talk to the fellas.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is Jamel Hill, the Hers from His and Hers on ESPN2, and you are in the War Room on the War Room Sports Podcast Network.
Yeah, we're going to get into a couple quick hot topics, which are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, you got to get audiobooks. You get that by going to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and we'll hook you up with a free audiobook. I just got one today. It's called Prophets of the Hood, Politics and Poetics in Hip Hop. It's written by a Princeton University professor, and it's about hip hop and how politics and poems and everything has come from hip hop, how the whole genre of hip hop isn't a negative thing. And anytime someone is willing to tell me why Everyday Struggle is like some of the most important poetry that rank with Edgar Allan Poe, I'm willing to listen. So I love to watch intellectuals pontificate on hip hop. So that's what I'm doing. But you can get that and many other books. audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and it's a free book on us. One thing we have to get to is the stat of the week, the WRS stat of the week. It's about LeBron Raymond James and what he charged for tweet advertisements.
Yeah, because we actually spoke about this earlier. So we actually have the numbers on what LeBron gets per tweet. And then for be Austin, I'm going to go look up what Kim K gets, and we're going to bring that to you next week because you tripping on that girl's popularity.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to get to two things, Jim. We're going to do that. And I got, we had some other topics. I'll just give a quick shout out. We'll talk about it maybe on War Room Sports TV. Kobe might be trying out for the Olympic team, but he really wants to try out. Oscar Pistorius to be released after just doing 10 months after, killing his girlfriend. And we just want to give a shout out to the movie Straight Outta Compton, which was the #1 movie in America. We'll definitely get into a longer conversation about that. As a matter of fact, Jimmy's the only one who saw it. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
America.
So it'll be a better conversation because more of us, we're going to try to see it this weekend so we could talk to Jim about it. But this LeBron thing, if you want LeBron James to tweet about your product, it'll cost you about $140,000, which equates to $1,000 per character. So he reportedly makes that for each sponsored tweet, according to a company called Open Doors, who specializes in monetizing digital and social media campaigns for athletes. And he has 23.2 million followers, which is the highest media value of any U.S. athlete. Among the top 5 paid athletes for sponsored tweets are Kevin Durant at $66,000 per tweet, Kobe Bryant at $42,000, Floyd Mayweather at $34,000, and Howard surprisingly at $34,000. But they said, despite all those numbers, Open Door CEO Blake Lawrence said most athletes only get paid between $1,000 and $2,500 for a single tweet. So that shows you how much LeBron means to the overall landscape and the economy. So we'll talk a little more about that because we're going to dig up those Kim K numbers for B. But I think this topic, we have like 3 minutes left, but this topic should probably get all 3 minutes because I know you guys have some thoughts on this. James Harrison doesn't believe in participation trophies. His kids won some awards. Actually, the awards they won were like some student athlete thing. Charlie Blake's or Charlie Batch. I'm sorry. It was his organization who gave these trophies to his kids as student athletes. So a part of it was for being good students as well. So before we get into it, I think James Harrison may have been a little bit out of line to take those trophies back because they weren't just athletic trophies. But what do you guys think of this culture of participation trophy and awarding people just for being there, just for showing up?
I'll be very brief in my analysis of this. We don't have that much time. I think it's all a bunch of mamaja hambo. It's why we're soft. It's why North Korea thinks that we're a bunch of peas. It's why J. Cole makes sensitive rap. All this goes back to participation trophies. I don't believe in it. I'm also not anti-bullying either. I think bullying should be allowed. It gives you character, makes you strong. So bring back bullies and FOH for participation trophies, and that's my opinion.
B, you got kids, and most of all, you have a son who's in sports. What do you think about participation trophies?
I'm 95% behind James Harrison. My only I guess deviation would be the point that you brought up, where academics should be celebrated more in our culture. I think that academics, where athletics are concerned, kind of lose focus. We celebrate people too much for athletic ability and don't put any of that focus on academics. But as far as participation, my son will never get a participation award or trophy as long as I can help it. At this stage, I teach him that sports is about competitive greatness. It's about having fun. It's about giving maximum effort. We want to win. If we don't win, it's okay, because we're going to go back. We're going to work on it. We're going to try harder. And we're going to go out to win. Now, I don't shame him for losing. I don't shame him for not coming up with a win every time. As long as you tried your best and you give maximum effort, that will be celebrated to a degree with a handshake, a hug. And then we're going to talk about what you think that you can do better to get a win, because winning is important. It's important to win.
Well, I'm right there with you. Like, I don't ever want to preach. I don't ever want to preach that winning is the only thing, because that'll breed kids that, are just weirdos and, just might take winning, especially in a sporting event, so seriously that it might go into another realm of not even that. I'm talking about past that, because Kobe Bryant wins. Like, it may put you in a mind state where if you don't win, and you got kids out here doing things to them because their father is expecting, too much for them. So that's the slippery slope. But I don't believe in this whole participation thing either. I can see if it's kind of like in a little league where they're teaching you how to play. If you go take some basketball lessons or lessons, give you some type of certificate or something like that. But if it's in a league where you're playing against other teams, like, I want my kids to know that, life isn't always just going to give you things, because this can go outside of the realm of sports, and you can spoil your kids to thinking that they don't have to do anything to earn anything. Parents that give their kids allowance, but their kids don't clean their room, they don't wash a dish, they don't do anything for the allowance. And it's allowance for you doing some type of chore that contributes to the household. So even outside of the household sports, like, you don't want them to just keep gathering things for something that they didn't do, and then they're walking around thinking they're some big time athlete and they've never won anything in their lives. So I feel James Harrison, I think this is something that we need to give more thought to, but we're out of time. So I think this is something we need to take the War Room Sports TV, gentlemen. Let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah, I just want to say it's not just about winning. It's also about scoring 30 and getting the cheerleader. Thanks for joining us in the War Room, good people. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook, Twitter, all the calls who chimed in to holler at us. We definitely appreciate it. Special thanks to Fred Perdue for joining us for his weekly college football segment. Tune in next week, same time, same place, live right here or on demand on the WR Podcast Network for a lot of great sports talk, not just us, everybody else as well. More NFL preseason and more from around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your week. We'll see you right back here next time. Catch our conversations on Facebook and all of our blogs, webcasts, and everything. That's all at warroomsports.com. There. So until next time, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we shall jump on top.
No diz out. We got a lot of more.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like Magic in the box course. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, tip stop for knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Jack Beck, B. Austin. I'm Jack. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.